Greater Chicago Food Depository, which supplies food pantries across the city, says in its more than 40-year history, it has never seen a hunger crisis like the one caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The situation may be easing somewhat as the economy bounces back, but it is estimated that more than 600,000 residents of Cook County, or roughly 12%, will struggle this year to meet the most basic of needs: food. Tonight, as part of our Firsthand Living in Poverty series, we take a look at the pandemic's impact on food insecurity. Joining us now with more are Gregory Gross, Executive Director at Care for Real, which runs food pantries in Rogers Park, Edgewater, and beyond; Nicole Robinson, who is the Chief Partnerships and Programs Officer at the Greater Chicago Food Depository; and Eric Clark, director of the Sheldon Heights Food Pantry, which provides services to residents of Roseland and West Pullman. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Nicole Robinson, let's start with you, please. Give us a sense of the level of need out there.
Brandis, thanks for prioritizing this as a topic. And you were spot on when you talked about the 600,000 people and 12% of our service area who are coping with food insecurity. I'd add that many of these individuals and families were coping with food insecurity before the pandemic. 38% of Black families with children in the household, 28% with Latino children in the household, and 17% of white households face food insecurity today. We are doing our best, and I'm glad I'm joined here by both Gregory and Eric, who are on the ground helping connect people to food, but it is unprecedented. At the peak of the pandemic, food pantries like the ones that Gregory and Eric run saw anywhere in the neighborhood of 150% increase in the number of people who were showing up. We've seen that decline over the coming months, and we've seen lots of federal relief come into the city, rental subsidies and other supports, but it is still well above pre-pandemic levels.
And we'll get to the impact of some of those supports that you mentioned, if they should begin to go away as the economy begins to bounce back. But Gregory Gross, of course, the pandemic caused the need to increase, as we've heard. How would you describe the demand for your services today?
Well, I was just looking at numbers. As Nicole was saying, we saw a 143% increase in first-time guests to the food pantry in 2020. In the first quarter of this year, we saw a 57% increase over the same time period in 2020. And just looking at last week, we've had the most guests to our food pantries than we have since January of this year. So like Nicole says, the need isn't going anywhere. We started a second day at our Rogers Park pantry last week, and 95% of the folks who came were the first time coming to our food pantry. So the need exists. It's a matter of trying to reach everyone who is experiencing food insecurity.
And to that end, Eric Clark, are you all able to meet all of the demand that you're experiencing?
Yes, so far we are. With the help of the Greater Chicago Food Depository, we have been able to make sure those individuals, the clients that are coming to our pantry, are able to pick up the food that they desperately need. Those are our previous clients and all of the ones that Gregory even mentioned, all of the new clients. And that's what I'm most thankful for is, as he mentioned, every week our pantries open on Tuesdays, twice 10 to 12 and then 4 to 6. We are averaging probably 10 to 15 new clients every Tuesday in both sessions. And so it just goes to show you that week after week, there are still new individuals who are working their way into that system where they're looking for the food that their family needs.
Nicole Robinson, how important are donations in order for folks like you and our other guests to be able to meet that need? And have those donations fluctuated over the course of this pandemic?
Brandis, you are right. The donations are absolutely needed because the work that Eric and Gregory do each day, it's invaluable. They are heroes. I would call them superheroes, actually, because the donations, we need donations for food. But Gregory and Eric both use volunteers to support their work. We've done a great job. We invested about $5 million since the beginning of the pandemic to basically support pantries with anything they need. If they needed additional cold storage, to store more fruits and vegetables and dairy items, because they can only distribute so much food as they can store. So how can we get them that? How can we just give them general operating support to hire more staff members, to have stipends and lunches for volunteers? There's so many things that go into making a food pantry operate efficiently. We've been doing the best we can, and the donations go a long way towards that kind of support.
Nicole, is the summer typically a tougher month for those kinds of, or typically a tougher season for those kinds of donations?
We typically do see a decline. I think one of the silver linings in this pandemic is that awareness for food insecurity. I always say that there was a silent pandemic before COVID-19, right? There were hundreds of thousands of people who were food insecure, and Gregory and Eric were serving those people, right? But they were largely ignored by the rest of the world. What the pandemic has done is raised awareness for the fact that there are people coping with poverty, and inconsistent access to food is a part of their everyday reality. It had become normal. What I feel like now is we're at this moment where people are saying, hey, that reality is unacceptable. And people are willing to step up and help. Donations are a part of stepping up to do that work. The summer in particular, kids are out of school. We're all happy that our city is opening up and we can do more. What that means is we're gonna have hundreds of thousands of kids across Cook County out in the community in summer. They may be in a community program, they may not, but that's a large population that is part of our responsibility to make sure they're connected to food. And we're trying to figure out how we do that during a pandemic. So people, as we go back to normal, I want everyone to understand that there are families who are food insecure that continue to need us.
And I wanted to jump in and get Eric in here a little bit more. Eric, have you seen a significant change in the people who are now relying on your service?
I would say I don't necessarily see them as different, but I would see them as just individuals who are in need. And I think one of the major turning points in just the overall awareness of the need for food was when every night we all saw those videos of people in cars in long lines waiting for food. I think television does a great job, pictures do a great job of helping convey the importance and the serious need of individuals. And if you think back to when the pandemic first started, how often did we see those long lines? How often did we see people, waiting hours just to get food? And I think that was a major turning point because people actually thought about others. They realized how important it was to help their neighbor because our neighbors were getting sick. Our neighbors were losing their jobs. Excuse me. And so I think it became very real, right? Then when you have somebody that's close to you, someone that that is about to start that sort of a struggle.
Obviously, yeah, that brings it home. That's unfortunately where we'll have to leave it. My thanks to the three of you for the work that you do and for joining us. Nicole Robinson, Gregory Gross, and Eric Clark.